Hello crafters, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am so happy that you're here, and I am so happy to be able to enjoy this time with you. I put together this really cute little page. I was been inspired by all the Netflix shows and all the royal stuff that comes out, Versailles, and I just watched the Cook of Castamar. Oh my God, the castle was to die for. So when I started looking at, and I got these dies in just recently, the door die and then the window die, I started thinking I needed to make a Castle of Castamar from Netflix. Their castle was like in rose, it was creamy, and then it had some pink in it. So I didn't use cream, I used a minty green color, but that was my inspiration. I look for inspiration in everything that I see, and so let me show you how this works. This is the door die from Anna Griffin, of course, and I am looking at this door die right here in front, and I wanted it to be windows also. Of course, these are the business size dies, slim dies, but I don't usually make cards, so that is what I use the dies in my pages. So we have a die here. I double-sided it with a black heavy core in the back to kind of make it kind of stand up and be a little bit more interactive. Okay, and then we flip it open. Of course, we're gonna have a flip. And then right here, you see the inside. I made a little banner that came with the Rose collection. So this is a mix of the Lillian collection and the Rose collection. A little gold piece right here. This little gold piece actually is a little gift box, and I kind of just made it look like a tag. And then here's a little banner with a little bow and some flowers. Here's a little set of a little tag or a storyline you can put on each side, on whatever side. It is the dies from the Scrapbooking Create event. And then just all my little leftover pieces, I kind of just turned them into a little tag. And then this one is a 5x7 that comes with the Lillian collection. It comes with these gorgeous little 5x7s that you can turn them into cards. And of course, I'm using it as a photo mat. It is not stuck in, it's not glued, it's just in there floating. I kind of like doing that with my pictures because you can put pictures on the front and the back. Right here, there is a magnet buried underneath in between. So that is what's holding all of this in. And this is the crown. The crown is a castle in my eyes. I wanted it to have a crown, so I did a crown, and I kind of rounded it and curved it. I also backed it with the 110 black paper to kind of make it stand out. I was kind of feeling the black paper shadows with this black here. That is what I'm considering the steps going into the castle. Inside, I also did a black and white inside. And the crown makes it look like it's 3D on here. So we have this one open, and then of course we have our windows. Our windows have the little cute little gold ribbon, which what I did was I took apart one of the gorgeous Anna Griffin ribbons that come in all of her stuff, and I undid it, and then flat iron. Pressed it with my flat iron, and then I'm able to use the exact same ribbon that I did in the front for my little flaps here in the middle. So we have our little flowers here, and then you open it up, and you have on this side a little spot to add a tag or add more mats. Same thing on this side. Now on here, I used the old die set, the die set that was from 2016. That is the 12-inch. This is about 3 inches going across. It is, of course, discontinued, but it's on eBay. It's on eBay for, like $300 last time I checked. Is the little flap that goes open. I kind of mimicked this and replicated this little thing here, the little one. I used it right here and then added some flowers on the end. This flower is quite thick now, so it's a little bit in the way, but it'll be fine. It'll flatten out eventually. So then I did a date tag, and then we have more mats. And the mats are being held in by this little flap right here. I used very strong score tape on there to make sure that it stays in. And then here's another matte. And then this one is absolutely gorgeous, this black and white. So what I did is I used a magnet here, and I don't know where or how I'm going to put my pictures on here yet, so I didn't want to permanently glue it on. So I have a magnet here, a magnet on this, and a magnet right here to keep everything secure. So that put in this into this little space. Then the next magnet, the little next mat is right there. And then this one I also inked to kind of give it that little vintage look, a little bit more like a ephemera. And I am using Tim Holtz Distressed, and this color is called Vintage Photo. And I love this little makeup brush that it says Pink and Maine makes. I want to say that comes from my favorite scrapbook store in Scrap Shack. The Scrap Shack in Friendswood, Texas. And I want to say it's scrapshacktexas.com. So here we go. All those little mats kind of hide in there. I just love the way the little flag banner came out. It just makes it kind of fun. So it kind of feels like a serious page on the outside, but when you open it up, it kind of makes it fun and a little bit more girly and not so... Okay, so now let's break it down and get the measurements and show you exactly how to replicate this if you want. Now let me tell you this also before I forget. Right in here, I have this gold die, and that is also in the same die set that was the other one from 2016. That is the die set that comes from here. And what I did is I cut it in half after I printed it. So I left a little bit of that edge. On the bottom here, I also did it in green. I wanted this to be kind of a fence going to the castle. So I did a triple. I did a gold from our lovely Scrapbook Create event, and I cut it in half, and then I did a green and a black with this one. So on this side here by the door, I wanted some kind of peekaboo windows, kind of like what we have at home where you have a main door and then you have a second piece there. So that's what I was looking at. So let me show you how I put it all together. I'm kind of thinking this is the front of a gorgeous French castle. Then what I was thinking of is turning them into little flaps. Let's measure this and see where we are on our measurements. This little piece of paper right here is 4 by 8.5. So this is 4 by 8.5. And then I have a 1/8 little binding area and then a 1/4 inch in the back. And that is enough to make it a little gate open. Okay, here. See? And then what I'd like to do is cut out some gorgeous flowers. What I'd like to do is put some flowers in the window and maybe some fancy curtains flowing around. That is what I'm looking at. And then the door itself, I was thinking it should be... Okay, sweet people, here we are. I have cut out 2 little windows and 1 door. The door I have put 110 black paper in the back just to keep it nice and strong is what my intentions were on this. And then I went into my windows and card dies. It is the window and the card dies. Cut out this cute little curtain. I'm sure we can hand cut it also. It's not that intricate. And then from that little space also is the little piece that goes on the top. So these windows are a little bit taller. I've kind of been playing with this to see how we do this. So I want the flower to show as much as possible. So I'm going to get my handy dandy little fancy glue dispenser here. And I'm putting a little tiny bit of glue, but from the bottom piece. There we go. And I'm leaving the top piece alone so that I can sneak this little piece in right here into that little... Okay, and then I want the little valance to be peeking up enough so that we can cover up the little shortness of the curtain. So here we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. So that way we have pretty flower curtains. Let's try that again. Okay, so look at that. Now we have curtains in our windows. And now that we have that, little flowers, of course, we're going to put flowers on two nice flower pieces that we can work kind of like that. Now, and I kind of wanted to exaggerate the little curtain spot in black. The little window, I like the way the little black kind of makes that little flower stand out. And there we go. Now we're gluing it down. We'll glue down the next one the same way. There we go. Just cleaning up my little glue mess. So then flowers would be just darling right there because we can attach these as little swings going open. You can manipulate the paper to cut the die just where you want it. So I've got a little piece of paper and I cut it without the top portion, running that through. Now I don't necessarily need this open, so I'm putting down some tape on this little part so that it doesn't open, because this is going to be the inside hallway. Harlequin is what I'm looking for. And there we go. I'm going to put this here so this goes on the top. So when you open it, it opens like this. So here. And then here, all of this will be beautiful florals on the outside is what I'm hoping for, with some gorgeous little, this die. I'm sure everybody has this die also. And I was thinking this would be perfect like that, with the little, maybe moving these around and adjusting them to follow on the side. Okay, down with glue. Then I'm doing two again, little eighth of a crease, so that whatever we have in the back has room to fold in. There we go. So we have one, and then we have a second crease, so that we have a little room so things can breathe a little bit underneath once we stack pictures and more mats and more flowers and ribbons. A little tiny eighth of an inch is good. A quarter of an inch on the very top. Now I have the entire thing is 10 1/4. So going down is 10 1/4 and going across is 6. Okay, see how we go. We're going to start closing it up and cutting it. let's start putting this together, but this doesn't look finished to me quite yet. Okay, so I have these old ones I'm pulling out. This is another one of the set that goes with the 2016, and I'd like to have it just like this. And so I'm cutting it. Now, a lot of this, remember, is going to be covered up later during embellishments. So we're going to do flowers and the laurel I want to put as a crown. So I'm just looking to finish some kind of elaborate something on the edges. And I haven't used this in forever, so that's why I'm kind of thinking we want to do this one. Look at that little scallop. Isn't that just gorgeous? It is what we would call castle worthy. Look at how that makes a difference on that. Let's get to gluing these pieces in, and then let's see what next step we're gonna do. Okay, so I've got this one glued down. This is 6 inches wide, so I made some markings in the back. We made the 12-inch mark. We made 6 inches on each side, that's 3 and 3. And then I made a mark. I made a mark here for 1.25 inches right here. 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches. Okay. Okay, now here we have our window. We're going to have a window on each side. And then we need to, what we're doing also is I have to show you, we are attaching our hinges to the back of everything. So we will, when you open everything up in the front, there's nothing showing on this edge. Now, it's not horrible if there's a little piece right here showing. I'm just letting you know, since right now we have the opportunity, we are hinging everything to the back of it, okay? Okay, so my light is going, and I am working on this page. It's getting dark out there. I put this little trim down. This is a die from the old set, the old 12-inch ones. That is this one right here, and I cut it after the little trim so that I can have some kind of a little fence. I really wanted to use this one, but it's too tall unless I cut it, and I decided to use the rounded one since we also have the rounded one here. Oh, that's supposed to be my little fence, and now I am putting the little windows attached to my little castle. I'm using wet glue. Windows. Okay, now we have our little house here. There we go, and then we have our little windows that come open right here. This die, and I cut it with the floral, this one right here, right where the flowers are, so we get lots of floral print, and then black on the background to kind of make it stand out. That's the theme of this page. It seems like I've been adding black to backgrounds of dies to make them stand out a little bit more and get a better outline. It's twice, and then I cut it up into pieces. Do you see that? We have one complete one here and here, and then an extra piece here and here. That way we can build our little floral laurel is what we have here. Instead of closing it up, we're going to open it up and have it dropping down on the edges of this. So having it right here is where I'd like to put it, because I'd like everything to be in this page. I don't want anything hanging out, because this page flips open and you'll be able to see the thing on the outside, on the other side. So that's what we're doing. We're going to bring it down. Okay, so I'm still working on this. I just cut up the little fence that I made, put it on purple paper. The paper here is 4 inches by 2.5, and I'm pushing it up into the edge. The top is scalloped and the bottom is straight, and I want to use it as a little pocket. So we have it down like a little pocket right there, and we can kind of push things into this little space. Still super cute, and working on the sides. I am not putting a hinge system on it. It's just a very skinny pocket because we only have 1/8 of an inch here in score tape. Okay, we have the little page here with the little pockets, simple little pockets right here. There we go. And then we're going to close it. Then we're going to do this one down. Okay. All right. We need to look at how we're going to decorate the inside here. We have the little laurel that we took apart. So we dissected the laurel and took it apart. And we have the little door, and inside the little door we have black little floral. Okay, so we lift it up, windows, and then we have here a nice 1/4 inch. And this 1/4 inch square frame is from 1 to 9 inches. It's a 9-inch square. This is left over from another project that I put down on this page. So we have that 9-inch square, nice and pretty florals on top of this geometric strip. So we have here and here. So now the only thing we have left to decorate and look at is the paper we want to use. We need to decorate the inside right here, and we need to do some little decorative spots here. And I added the little flourish in here. And then this used to be a little gift box with a little bow, and I just turned them into, I cut them up and turned them into little banners. I thought it needed a little bit more gold. Slide a little picture right in this spot, and I can put a little ribbon into this little area, and I think that that'll be okay. Okay, so sometimes what you get in your little package isn't what you want. So you can always rearrange it and make it what you need it to be. So I need a little flag for this, and I'm not going to need a little tag because I'm not going to make tags or gifts. I prefer for this to be a little strip to add into this little space. Okay, so I have this decorated here now, and I have the little triangle here that we are able to put little pictures, and I also made it so that this little top little thing, we can put a picture in here if we wanted to, and we're gonna kind of match that with a little flag going this way, pictures underneath it. So we put it right here on the side. The Rose Collection 3D flowers, it over the little pink area, the darker pink, so that it really stands out. Then I'm using hot glue and still always being able to get a picture in this little spot. Magnet, and I'm sneaking it underneath the banner so that we can get some of the magnets in here to keep everything nice and tucked in. Now with the little magnet in place, we have a nice little space to hold that and keep it down. Okay, so I have a little tag here that we made with our fabulous scrapbooking dies, and I put a little pink in it. And now what I did is I put tape only on the outside so that we can still slide in a picture, and I'd like to put it in the corner. So we are slowly decorating and embellishing. We have a little bit of gold in between here. The crown we kind of curved around. We have a very nice stiff door. We put our little bow here so we can pull on the bow, pull up. We have the magnet inside, things in. Now what we need to do is put some little bows on these little windows so that we can get that in, and then put more mats. That's what I want to work on, making some little pretty mats. So we can put mats in here and some little bows. Let's get that part done. Okay, the bow here in the front is a very simple little gold bow. It's pre-made from the Anna Griffin collection. And then I added some little roses. These little roses are just the exact same rose that we have for the little side of the windows. Added that. I use hot glue on that so that it holds really good. Okay, we have a hidden magnet in this spot so that it holds down. So now what I did to add these little side gold bows is, because I want it to be coordinating to what we already have, I undid the gold bow from Anna Griffin, ran it through my flat iron, and then I snuck it in to the little flap here. So I poke inside with this little tool. I want to say it's Creative. No, not We Are Memories. Kind of poke in that little spot, and then I snuck it in between. I used double-sided tape so it would stay nice and flat right here. We also do the same thing to these little tags. This little gatefold of our windows are just 1/8 of an inch. So everything you put in this little pocket, you want it to be flat. So instead of making a pretty knot or a bow on these tags, I do a very flat, just run it through, kind of a faux knot on it, and use double-sided ATG tape in between, and that way that little flap stays nice and flat. I added a little flourish just to make it fancy. Okay, so now that is what we have here. Little bows are put in, and then we went crazy making mats. You have the mat here that is just ink. That mat is the one die that we used from Anna Griffin, not that one, this one, okay? It was the Anna Griffin die that we used during Scrapbooking Create event there. And then this is a 5x7, the same like the 5x7 that is on the top. This one is the bigger of the two. That is this one right here, okay? And we have those two. And then this mat is the mat that is bigger, and I want to say that this mat, it was my leftovers, and I cut around the corners. It's 7 3/4, and I just cut so that this would be just perfectly on the little triangle square, so that we didn't have a cut off. And then slide it underneath. I added a little magnet, but first you want to slide it underneath, and then you glue your little magnet to it. It holds so good. Fits just perfectly inside my little leftover frame. And then I tuck the corner into the date tag, because remember, we only use glue on this outer part of the date tag. And then we're able to sneak all our gorgeousness into our date tag. Use that as a little pocket. Later, maybe we want to put another magnet on top of this. You know, you kind of have to look and see what works for you best. I like to leave my mats out, because you can add more pictures to it or less pictures. If you wanted to later, you can also add some flower embellishments to this and kind of leave it also open so that you can use it as a pocket, just like this. This would just be a nice flat flower. And then if you glued it just to the ends of it, you can leave that, as a pocket holder for all of these things. You decide how you want to use that. I'm super glad that you guys are hanging out here with me. I'm so happy that you're here. So we have all our page put together. What do you think? In love with this little castle page. I love the pink geometric paper here. It works fabulously with all our florals. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. I really appreciate all of you guys coming and looking at my scrapbook creations. I love sharing my ideas with you all. Leave me a thumbs up. Send me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. I really appreciate talking with you all, and have a great day. Let's go out there and make some memories with our family so we can print our pictures and put them in our scrapbooks. Thank you. Bye.